Eden Hazard. Where did it go wrong? Because as you probably already know, Eden Hazard is now retired from the game of football. At just the age of 32, it makes you wonder what really went wrong for the Belgian. Because take it back to the Premier League days and this guy was an absolute baller. And probably one of the best, maybe the best winger in Premier League history. But after his big money move to Madrid, it seems as if everything has just come crashing down for the Belgian. And to be honest, I don't really know why. So in today's video, I'm going to be taking a look at Hazard's career and just try and pick out what went wrong, since he is such a mystery footballer with such a strange career. This is the rise and fall of Eden Hazard. Eden Hazard was born in 1991 in La Louvre, being the eldest of his four brothers who are all pro footballers themselves. And not only that, Thierry and Corinne Hazard, Hazard's parents, were also both semi-pro footballers. But after giving birth to Eden, both parents put their playing days aside to help raise their family. So Eden was basically born into the sport. Unlike most pro footballers, Hazard took up the game of football from an early age, playing for his hometown club from the age of 4. And even though Hazard was still really young at the time, the coaches around him had already seen how good he was, with one of Hazard's coaches saying that he knew everything and I had nothing to teach him. And to be fair, they weren't wrong, with Hazard being picked up by his first pro club, Lille, at 14 years old, and after impressing the youth level, he signed his first pro contract at just 16 years old, and would go on to make his debut for Belgium against Luxembourg at just 17 years old. And Hazard would spend around 2 years in the under-18s at Lille before making his first team debut against Club Rouge, and Hazard impressed in his first pro game, leading him to make his first league appearance against Nancy, and immediately everyone could see the potential the young Belgian had, as Hazard showed his lightning pace as well as his ability to burst past players so easily, leading to his breakout season in 2008. And Hazard put himself in the history book straight away, scoring his first goal against Auxerre, making him Lille's youngest goal scorer in their history, and ended the season with 6 goals and 4 assists in 35 games, as well as winning Ligue 1's Young Player of the Year in his first season. So it's fair to say that Hazard was absolutely flying at this point in Ligue 1, with many of Europe's biggest clubs like Real Madrid, Man United and Barcelona being interested in signing him. But Hazard would decide to stay for another 3 seasons, where he would win major honours such as Ligue 1, Coupe de France, as well as winning the Ligue 1 Player of the Year for 2 years in a row. So with Hazard becoming one of the most prominent talents in football, it was time for him to make his first big move, signing to Chelsea for around 32 million. And we know how good this guy was at Chelsea, making his league debut against Wigan, where he bagged his first assist for the Blues, and even made his first Champions League appearance against Juventus in 2012. And despite kicking a ball boy in his first year in England, he still had a good year, getting 12 goals and 24 assists. And in his second year in the Premier League, Hazard would impress again, getting 17 goals and 10 assists in 49 games, winning the PFA Young Player of the Year, in arguably one of his best seasons ever. And obviously all the work that Hazard was putting in at club level meant that he would represent his country on the biggest stage in the 2014 World Cup, where he would help his team reach the quarter-finals, where they were knocked out by finalists Argentina. But despite missing out on the World Cup, Hazard would return to Chelsea and win his first domestic trophy with the Blues, winning the Premier League and the League Cup in the 14-15 season, having one of his best years in football, scoring some amazing solo goals and becoming a nightmare for pretty much every defender in the Premier League at this point. But in the 15-16 season, things kind of took a downturn, as despite helping Leicester win the league, Hazard had quite a poor year, registering just 6 goals and 8 assists in 44 games in all competitions. But don't let this fool you, because Hazard would make a complete comeback the year after, as Hazard became their best player, carrying them towards another league title, this time under Antonio Conte, and getting himself 17 goals and 7 assists in 43 games, being the main star in one of Chelsea's best teams. And the second season he did it again, as despite struggling with an ankle injury at the start of the season, had another great year in the Premier League, and was the star of the show again, scoring the only goal in the FA Cup final that would win Chelsea their 8th FA Cup, which meant that it was time for Hazard to represent his country again on the international stage, where he was part of Belgium's golden generation. And many argue that the 2018 World Cup was the peak of Hazard, displaying some incredible performances all throughout the tournament and getting 3 goals and 2 assists, and to be honest, he arguably carried Belgium's golden generation all the way to the semi-finals, where they would eventually lose 1-0 to the winners France. But the 2018-19 season was the last time we saw Hazard play well, to be honest. And let me explain, because 2019 was to be Hazard's last season at Chelsea, and again he had another great year, which even saw him go on a run of scoring 7 goals in 8 games as a winger at the start of the season, and again scoring some incredible goals like his solo run against West Ham. And with an impressive 21 goals and 17 assists, Hazard would finish his time at Chelsea by scoring the winning penalty against Arsenal in the Europa League final. And then we go to Real Madrid, where things just completely go wrong. But to be fair, at the time in 2019, Hazard was one of football's best players, cementing himself as one of the best players in Premier League history. So when the world's biggest club come knocking at your door, it's kind of hard to say no to that. So with Real Madrid offering 100 million in euros plus add-ons, this was a no-brainer for Chelsea, considering they signed him for such a low fee and considering how much he did for the club. It was a deal they couldn't refuse. So Hazard was now at the biggest club in the world. So obviously expectations were very high for him, and maybe too high, because in his first season, Hazard just kind of did nothing. With Hazard arriving to his first training session overweight, and on the pitch, Hazard just couldn't find form at all. And to top it off, Hazard suffered a fracture to his right ankle that ruled him out for the majority of the season, leading to a very lackluster first season in Spain. But listen, it's his first season in a new environment. I guess you can give him the benefit of the doubt, considering he's at Real Madrid after all. And we all know how good he is, so surely it's just a matter of time before he starts displaying some quality. But to be honest, it didn't look like Hazard was even going to get a second chance at Madrid, eventually losing his place to Vinicius Jr. And yes, he did win major trophies like the Champions League and the La Liga. But listen, Hazard didn't contribute to any of that. And very quickly, Hazard just sort of faded out of football. And after a really disappointing World Cup for Belgium, being knocked out in the group stage, Hazard then confirmed his retirement from international football. And just recently on the 10th of October, Hazard has confirmed his official retirement from football as a whole. And to be honest, it's sad to see where his career has really ended up. Because listen, if he turned up for Real Madrid, who knows how far he could have actually gone in his career and what else he could have won. But what do you guys think about Hazard? Do you actually think he's a failure? For me, I don't think he's a failure, because he's still had a great career for obvious reasons, and he's undoubtedly top 3 Premier League wingers of all time. But the question always is, could he have done more? So yeah, I don't know, man. You guys let me know. And speaking of Real Madrid wingers, why not check out this video here about the rise of Vinicius Jr. And if you did enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe as well. And thanks for watching. This has been Discussing Ball.